This young man is Hibiki. Today is the mock exam day, so after finishing his exam, he waited for his close friend Daichai. Daichai was very worried, unsure if he did well on the test, while Hibiki was completely opposite, extremely calm, because he was very intelligent. The two stopped at a cafe to discuss their future plans about going to university or finding a job. Daichai wanted to get a driver's license after entering university and meet girls he liked. He suddenly remembered something interesting and grabbed Hibiki's phone to do something. Daichai downloaded an application called Reca. Recently, this app was very popular because it could tell them the cause of their death very realistically. There were even rumors that some people died exactly as the app had predicted. After Hibiki uploaded his photo to the app, the system notified that it would take some time to analyze. Afterward, the two went to the subway station. Daichai noticed a girl named Nishako in the distance, who also seemed to have just finished the mock exam like them. Suddenly, both received notifications from the app that their deaths had been analyzed. Along with that was a video showing a train derailment crushing people. They saw themselves dying from being crushed by the subway train, and the scene of the incident was right here. Both became anxious, feeling something was wrong. Just as they were about to leave, it was too late. The train rushed toward them at an insane speed, then derailed. The surrounding space suddenly darkened. The Reca system notified that if he wanted to live, it would give him a chance. After Hibiki selected the option to live, a player application automatically downloaded on his phone. Soon after, Hibiki gradually regained consciousness. He couldn't believe that just minutes ago this place was still normal. Now it had turned into a pile of wreckage. Daichai also slowly regained consciousness. While both were confused and wanting to call for help, something moved in front of them. A black demon appeared, dragging the dead people to eat them. On the other side, Nishya was also terrified witnessing this scene. Their movements attracted the demon's attention. When a demon lunged at Nishya, she accidentally summoned a blue-skinned demon that cut off the other demon's head. Daichai also unintentionally activated a summon, calling forth a small demon that could shoot ice. Hibiki ran over and told Nishya to follow him. The three climbed to higher ground and looked down to see the demons they had just summoned protecting them. They ran to a corner, and Nishya showed them her phone screen. On it was an image of the demon she had just summoned. Hibiki recounted how the system had asked if he wanted to live, and similar to him, Daichai and Nishya were also asked the same. He made a deduction that possibly those who chose death had their demons automatically summoned. The three ran outside the city and saw chaos all around. The government announced that their prefecture had experienced a natural disaster, so the casualty rate was extremely high. Daichai called his family but lost signal after talking for just a moment. When the rescue team arrived and wanted to enter the tunnel to rescue the victims, they were stopped by people wearing strange clothes. They introduced themselves as the government's Special Disaster Response Team. This place would now be under their direct command. The rescue soldiers were angry because they didn't know if the disaster victims inside were still alive, yet they were prevented from entering. Because of the lost signal, Nishya couldn't call her family and was very worried. Since Daichai and Hibiki had already called their families, they were probably fine. The two decided to accompany Nishya to her home. Afterward, she tried calling multiple times but still couldn't get through. She apologized to the two for dragging them into this. Both felt that with the current chaotic situation, they should stick together. In the evening, Daichai went to buy water while Hibiki and Nishya talked. She said that if she had known this would happen, she wouldn't have participated in the mock exam. Hibiki felt as if they were being tested by someone using the application. After returning with water, the two happily played rock, paper, scissors. The result was as before. Hibiki won and received the water bottle. Something strange descended from the sky to where they were. While everyone wondered what it was, the sphere on top expanded and exploded. After that explosion, another sphere formed. It frantically fired bombs and bullets, attacking people around, and those who couldn't escape in time lost their lives. When the sphere aimed at Hibiki and Nishya, she summoned her demon to block the attack. The system notified that there was a new death video. Hibiki opened it and was shocked to see Daichai's death inside. From behind, Daichai drove a large vehicle into the demon and then exploded. In the smoke, the demon was still not dead but gradually reappeared. Witnessing his best friend's death made Hibiki extremely angry. He activated the summoning system, and a large wave of power erupted. The disaster response team personnel were amazed when they saw him summon the divine beast Byakko. Under Hibiki's command, Byakko dodged the bullets, leaped to claw the demon, and then struck it with lightning to destroy it. He ran to the fire site and heard Daichai's voice. He had been pulled out of the explosion by one of Nisha's small demons. The Special Disaster Response Team, named JBS, immediately surrounded and took them to their headquarters. In the vehicle, all three were handcuffed and had their phones confiscated. Hibiki didn't understand why the government knew this would happen yet abandoned the citizens. The convoy was driven to the Parliament building. After entering, the three were amazed by the grandeur of the place. A white-haired man approached, and everyone saluted him. Daichai and Nisha were taken to a glass room, while Hibiki was led elsewhere. He asked why only he was being taken separately. The woman told him they would reveal the truth to him. Behind the door was an enormous computer system. She introduced herself as Deputy Commander Sako. For a long time, JBS had been tasked with monitoring a barrier covering Japan to protect its citizens. This barrier was a spiritual system, and if it were broken, the enemy mysterious phenomena would invade and attack them. And Hibiki had summoned Byakko, one of the 4 divine beasts of China. An ordinary person couldn't summon such a powerful demon. In this sector, no one had ever summoned a demon as powerful as he did. Since ancient times, there were many ways to summon demons. JBS had researched and integrated it into phones to summon demons. Normal people wouldn't be able to access it. However, someone had created an application and distributed it so that citizens could download and summon demons. Hibiki was very upset that they knew this would happen, and moreover, this place had extremely modern equipment. Yet they didn't use it to help the citizens but selfishly kept it for themselves. The white-haired commander explained that the demons that would appear later would be even more terrible than the one he had just destroyed. There were 6 disaster-level beings equivalent to the 6 upcoming days, and they would have to stop them, or the world would be swallowed and disappear. These 6 were called Septentrions. Hibiki had summoned the white tiger Byakko, so he had the ability to help JBS destroy the Septentrions. The scientists at JBS, after research, realized that the player application was completely different from the application they had designed. The next day, Nisha asked what would happen to them. Hibiki assured her nothing would happen as long as they stayed put. That evening, they were driven home by Sako. She said that according to the agreement, she would take Daichai and Nisha home, but Hibiki would have to join them in the fight. Daichai tried to stop Hibiki because it was too dangerous. Unfortunately, the city where Nisha's family lived was covered in smoke, and the road ahead was congested. They consoled her that nothing bad would happen. Now they would go to a refugee camp to find Nisha's family. They arrived at a large building where many people had already come to seek shelter. Sako returned their phones to them and left. Despite searching the information board, they still had no information about Nisha's family. She was very panicked when she couldn't find her family. Suddenly, a demon burst through the glass door, scaring everyone into running away. The demon targeted a young boy. Hibiki couldn't stand by any longer and summoned Byakko to take it outside. Sako, who hadn't driven far, saw Byakko fighting. After one demon was killed by Byakko, a whole horde of demons rushed in. Daichai wanted to summon a demon to help, but his little demon hadn't been recreated yet. Daichai wanted to stop Hibiki, arguing that even though he had great power, it didn't mean he had to risk his life fighting. As for Hibiki, he wanted to use his power to save people. The number of flying demons kept increasing. Fortunately, Sako came to help, saying she didn't see any players around. It was possible that a broken phone was automatically summoning demons. They split up. Hibiki stayed to kill demons while Sako ran to find the phone. She found a dead player with a phone continuously summoning his demons. She immediately crushed the phone to stop the summons. The citizens who witnessed Hibiki fighting feared he would attack them. The boy he had saved earlier spoke up to thank him. Afterward, the three met with a commander. They realized the current situation was extremely serious, so they would stay to help. The commander gave them their first mission, to find the JBS scientist who had gone missing after the Septentrioni appeared. Before leaving, Hibiki suggested that the other two should stay behind, but Daichai couldn't let his close friend go alone, so he disagreed. Daichai was delighted that he had bought other demons in the App Store. Although somewhat afraid of the power he now possessed, Hibiki still had to use it to protect those he cherished. After taking the subway, the three reached the Osaka area and met the JBS personnel at this branch. Here they also met two new players, Hinako and Kita. Just like their group, these two had only joined JBS yesterday. The young Kita had a stubborn personality. He didn't want to participate in the search mission and left alone to hunt demons. The group went to Dr. Kano's underground laboratory. There were no signs of a struggle, nor any indication that she had left the building, as if the scientist had vanished from the earth. Kita, while killing demons and destroying phones of the dead, accidentally spotted a demon flying furtively in the sky and chased after it. Daichai didn't understand why. Now that they were all players, they weren't assigned to kill demons but instead were doing these other tasks. Surely the commander had another agenda. Just then, the system reported that the barrier wall was under attack. JBS's barrier had many walls, so normally it couldn't be broken from the outside. Inexplicably, the system suddenly reported an error due to a hacker attacking their system. Layer by layer, the protection was being destroyed by the hacker. Hinako asked why they couldn't just unplug the network to stop the attack. The old man refused because if they did, Asaka would lose magical protection, and the Septentrians would invade and attack them. Hibiki realized that the commander had known this in advance, which was why he had assigned the mission to come here. The app notified of a new death video. Hinako watched and saw it was Kita's death. Hibiki told her to look around to see where it was. Then he ran to tell the staff to locate that area. While the old man was scolding him, saying he was doing something useless, the female staff had located the area and discovered that the hacker attacking their system was in a park near this area. The commander contacted them and told them to quickly go and stop the hacker. Teams nearby would come to support. Hibiki wanted clarification, asking if he had known about this in advance. The commander only gave an ambiguous answer without giving him a straight answer. Kita, while chasing the demon, entered an abandoned park. Suddenly, two demons appeared from behind and attacked. They were horse-faced demons from mythology. Kita immediately summoned a red-skinned warrior to fight them. Although they weren't individually powerful, they were numerous and continuously summoned. While dodging an attack from a demon, Kita was falling towards a sharp iron spike. Thinking he would die there, he was fortunate that Hinako appeared in time and had her flying demon pull him up. The horse-faced demon, wanting to take advantage of the opportunity to attack, was killed by Hibiki's white tiger. Everyone was relieved that they had arrived in time. Daichai said he would find the hacker controlling the demons and summon the demons he had just bought. Unexpectedly, they were very useless, being scared off and scattering as soon as they charged in. Sako called Hibiki to inform him that only his group had safely reached there. Other groups on the way had all been killed. The commander told him to quickly find the hacker, who was about 50 meters away from them. Hibiki told Daichai and Nishia to find the hacker, while he and the others would stay and fight. Despite the three supporting each other in battle, it was still very difficult because there were too many enemies, and everyone was exhausted. The commander ordered the use of Ramadan, a new virus that the scientist had invented. Sako was worried because using it without the scientist would be very dangerous. In the end, she had to obey. Immediately, all enemy demons froze and couldn't move. They would be unable to attack for a short time. By now, Nishia and Daichai had also spotted the hacker. When she summoned her blue demon, they were shocked to see that the person sitting inside was actually the scientist. Right after, a high-level demon killed Nishia's demon and threw her from a height. Kita immediately controlled his demon to catch her. The people at headquarters were also alarmed to learn that the hacker was the scientist. She had been completely brainwashed by the enemy and only followed orders. The white tiger and Hinako's demon attacked the high-level demon together, but surprisingly, it could block their attacks with one hand. Then it struck Hinako's demon with lightning, killing it. Hibiki told Kita to join forces with him to attack it. The hacker had now attacked the final defensive layer of the system. The white tiger charged at the demon. When it created a shield to block, Kita's demon attacked from behind and killed it. Daichai also followed the plan and used an iron rod to destroy the system the hacker was using. When everyone thought they had succeeded, the demon from earlier was still not dead. It suddenly struck lightning at Kita and Hibiki. Kita immediately pushed Hibiki away, but he himself took the hit and lost his life. The hacker system was activated again, destroying the final defensive layer. After the battle, everyone was injured. Hibiki was shocked to see that Kita had died. They couldn't change the future. The defensive layer disappeared, and the Septentriani disaster appeared and entered Osaka. Hibiki deeply blamed himself for being careless, which led to Kita's death. He was taken by JBS personnel to a position to prepare for battle with the Septentriani. It was a gigantic entity slowly flying into the center. Rows of military tanks fired at it, but to no avail. The Septentriani released small demons that attached to the tanks, causing them to explode. A white-haired man sitting on the bridge talked to a high-level demon, saying that humans were insignificant when facing this. Sako announced the gathering of player teams along the Septentriani's path to block it. This was nothing but a wall of flesh. Daichai also wanted to join the battle to help everyone, but because his demon level was too weak, he couldn't join the combat team. He was assigned to the medical team to help others. Before going into battle, Hanako told Nisha to stay here with Hibiki. He was now drowning in guilt over Kita's death and needed someone by his side. Hibiki was with the main force at the last line. The commander told him that Kita died protecting him, which was honorable. Those without power were just trash, so there was no need to care about them. The Septentrione had entered the city. Hundreds of players controlled demons to attack it, but all in vain. The Septentrione only launched one wave of attacks and completely destroyed the first line of defense. Monsieur ran everywhere looking for Hibiki. She asked a staff member where he was. When she learned he was on the building in front, she ran up there. When the Septentrione reached the second line of defense, it used magic to shoot a beam of destruction at the headquarters. The entire city shook violently. The outer protective layer of the headquarters was completely destroyed, and one more strike would cause Osaka to fall. Underground, after the Septentrione's attack, everything around was frozen. Even the medical team had been destroyed. Daichai was extremely worried and called Hibiki, telling him to come down, saying that if he continued to follow JBS's orders up there, he would die. He decided to go to the front line to fight rather than stay here watching people die. The commander said he was a fool, but didn't need to worry because someone had already replaced that position. It was none other than Nisha, who was running up to the rooftop looking for Hibiki. Because he had ridden away on his tiger, the two couldn't meet. At this defense line, those controlling flying demons, including Hanako, attacked the Septentrione. When an explosive demon rushed toward her and exploded, Hibiki's white tiger blocked it. She told him to quickly retreat to the rear defense line, but he refused. The white tiger struck down lightning, but the Septentrione was unharmed. Instead, it attacked more fiercely. The white tiger was also shot down and fell to the ground. The demons immediately targeted the white tiger and Hibiki, and everyone in the team rushed in to shield him. When he regained consciousness, he saw feathers from flying demons falling everywhere. Many people had lost their lives protecting him. Hinako was now also severely injured with blood flowing continuously. She said Nisha had gone to that building to look for him. While he was falling into despair, the mysterious white-haired man appeared. He introduced himself as Akko, a friend of the commander. He said Hibiki had been dragged into this battle. Hinako was severely injured protecting him, and now the remaining person was about to be dragged into this battle too. He suddenly realized it was Nisha. She had received orders to replace Hibiki's position to protect the last line of defense. Akko thought that everything was because of him. Those with power would more or less cause danger to those around them. As the Septentrione moved closer, Nisha summoned a new demon. Everyone was shocked. It was none other than the goddess Haim. The old man didn't know who these young people were to have such powerful demons. Haim destroyed the explosive demons rushing in, then attacked the Septentrione with a shock wave. Although Haim was very powerful, Nisha's physical strength was limited and couldn't control it for long. The Septentrione began gathering energy to release a magical light beam. Suddenly, it was attacked by Hibiki's white tiger, causing it to redirect its attack into the sky. Taking this opportunity, the white tiger exerted all its power to destroy the core of the Septentrione, causing it to vanish. Everyone rejoiced that the campaign against the Septentrione had succeeded. Unexpectedly, at this moment, it still had some power left and was about to aim at Hibiki when it was cut in half by a demon. The man who owned the demon approached. He said he was a former member of JBS and currently hated JBS to the core. He told Hibiki to come with him. The people at the headquarters were alarmed when they no longer saw Hibiki's presence. He had disappeared. The man who took Hibiki away was the leader of the rebel army who had seized the JBS branch in Nagoya, named Ronaldo. He was a former member of JBS, so he knew many of their secrets. Daichai and Nisha had hidden in cardboard boxes and infiltrated the secret army to reach Nagoya to find Hibiki. The two were extremely worried after receiving the death video about Hibiki's death. According to calculations, the next place the Septentrione would attack would be Nagoya. The female scientist, after many days of unconsciousness, had now regained consciousness. She immediately set to work restoring the system she had destroyed. Sako went home, remembering the first time they met several years ago. He had invited her to become deputy commander because, according to him, those with ability should stand in positions they deserve. At a restaurant in Nagoya, a pair of siblings were staying there. They were from JBS, and after arriving in Nagoya, They had lost contact with the headquarters. Today, they would continue their mission to enter the territory of the rebels for investigation. They would use a tunnel that the rebels didn't know about to enter. Daichai and Nissha walked around the city and saw that the scene here was as devastated as Osaka. In front of them was a crowd of citizens gathering. Suddenly, a man who looked like a thug approached, startling them both. He took water and food from a box and gave it to the refugees. He said that the current government had abandoned the people, so they had no choice but to take care of themselves. But upon closer inspection, those food portions were from JBS. Perhaps these people had stolen food from JBS and provided it to the citizens. Suddenly, a group of demons appeared from nowhere and attacked them. Daichai wanted to help by summoning demons, but they were still cowardly demons that were scared by the enemy. It wasn't until Nissha called out Haim that all of them were destroyed. The rebels in this place, seeing that they were players, surrounded them. In a room where injured players were, this girl was a JBS doctor in the secret army. The players blamed her because JBS knew everything but abandoned the citizens. In fact, they didn't know anything and only followed the commander's directions. Ronaldo came over and told them to stop blaming her. Then he also returned the summoning phone to the girl. Although she belonged to JBS, their enemy, she needed it to protect others. She wanted to know why he seized this branch. Ronaldo revealed a secret to them. After all the Septentrians were destroyed, Commander Yamato would implement a dictatorship. He would lead the new world, and the strong would be under his command. He wasn't making baseless claims. Previously, he was an inspector installed by the government into JBS. After some time, he discovered that Yamato was a schemer. To him, they were just tools to help him reach the top. Nothing more, nothing less. Ronaldo led Hibiki to their control room. Although this place was more rundown compared to Hibiki's headquarters, they had powerful demons that could fight against the Septentriani. The female JBS doctor also shyly said she would join them in fighting against the Septentriani. Yamato, at this time, was playing chess alone. He thought they were fools who would soon realize the harsh reality. This world was not for the weak. From a young age, Yamato was a genius with an extremely arrogant attitude, looking down on subordinates. His clan had long researched ways to summon demons. When applied to Yamato, unexpectedly, the power eruption was enormous. The demon he summoned was the Black Lion, Cerberus. The Black Lion was extremely fierce and lost control, attacking the scientists. In the fire, when Cerberus came before Yamato, it knelt before him. Some time later, Akko came to find Yamato. He was so intelligent that Yamato was still no match when playing chess. And so, they became friends. Back to the present, Akko came to Yamato again, saying that Yamato hadn't changed at all compared to before. Just as he was about to leave, Yamato's phone showed a notification about a death video, which was a video about Hibiki's death. In Nagoya, Ronaldo led everyone to the position where the third Septentriani would appear. He knew about it based on the covenant of the Yamato clan. The female doctor knew about Hibiki, so she asked why he was following the rebels. He thought that if he followed JBS, he wouldn't be able to save anyone. Yamato's ideal was to sacrifice others to reach the top, and he didn't want to follow such a person. At this moment, Yo came to tell Hibiki that there were people claiming to be his friends. No sooner had she finished speaking than Daichai and Nissha rushed in. The three were delighted to see each other. They told him about the death video they had received. They wanted him to return to Tokyo with them and leave this battle, but he refused. He would stop the Septentriani that was about to appear. Daichai was very angry because his death in the death video was at this place. Seeing that he was still determined to stay made Daichai furious, but he also decided to stay with Hibiki to fight against the death video. Nissha spoke up, telling him not to shoulder everything alone like that. The JBS siblings, while infiltrating, accidentally fell into a place with many rebel soldiers. They immediately summoned demons to fight. The girl was very excited to fight with demons. She and her brother also summoned their demons, the Dihai cat and the warrior cat. In just a moment, their demons had killed all the rebels' demons. Ronaldo and Yo also appeared right after. He told the two to stop because they wouldn't be able to defeat them. While the situation between the two sides was very bad, not willing to reason but fighting, the ground suddenly shook violently. People in the control room notified Ronaldo that the Septentriani was about to appear. After determining the coordinates, surprisingly, the position where it would appear was where they were standing. A magic gate opened, and the Septentriani, with a circular shape and spikes, was summoned. Ronaldo gathered all the players belonging to the rebel army to support. The siblings also stopped fighting and joined him in fighting the common enemy, the Septentrione. But most of their attacks were ineffective. At this point, the Septentrione's spikes stopped spinning and stuck into the walls on both sides. It released a wave of magic that blew away all the demons in front. If they couldn't defeat the Septentrione now, it would destroy the system, and Nagoya would be destroyed. When the Septentrione was about to launch another magical attack, Hibiki arrived. His Fire Phoenix unleashed terrifying firepower at the Septentrione. Everyone was amazed by that power. Nisha also summoned Haim to support him in the fight. The female doctor called out a demon that played an instrument, which had a special skill that weakened enemies. The Septentrione's body gradually had cracks. Suddenly, it glowed, and the ring separated. The magical power of the Septentrione suddenly increased dramatically. Hibiki ordered the Fire Phoenix to stop it, but it was too late. It fired a destructive beam that killed the Fire Phoenix and other demons. Daichai realized that in the death video, Hibiki would die from that beam. He immediately summoned the White Tiger, but it also suffered the same fate, being erased by the Septentrione. The system on the phone immediately reported an error and stopped summoning. The Septentrione aimed its next attack at him. In this life or death situation, Yamato's Black Lion rushed in, bit off the Septentrione's spike, and stopped it. His clan had modified and fine-tuned the skills for demons. The Black Lion fired a shock wave that destroyed the Septentrione in one move. The system screen had also been successfully hacked by the female scientist. Hibiki was very angry that he had such great power but didn't protect people. Instead, he just stood behind giving orders, causing people to face death. To Yamato, they were just pawns, and he was a special pawn. Ronaldo also spoke up, saying he couldn't accept the dictatorial world where the strong held power that Yamato wanted to create. The people belonging to JBS were surprised when they learned this secret. Hibiki also resummoned the White Tiger, ready to confront Yamato if he wanted to harm others. Akko suddenly appeared beside the wreckage, saying he didn't expect the Rays of Hope to confront each other. He said Yamato immediately came here after receiving the video of Hibiki's death. Yamato affirmed that the upcoming Septentrions would be even more brutal, so Hibiki was just a weapon, nothing more, nothing less. Akko then said, if Yamato hadn't arrived in time earlier, Hibiki would have died. So now, what was his decision? Go with Yamato or stay? It would be extremely important, affecting the future. Ronaldo advised Hibiki not to go with him. A flame suddenly surrounded him, preventing him from approaching Hibiki. The demon appearing beside Akko spoke up, telling him to be quiet. Everyone was surprised to see a demon that could talk like that for the first time. The demon asked Akko why he sided with these weak humans. Hibiki asked if Akko was a demon. He introduced himself more clearly as one who always suffers. Players from the rebel army summoned demons to confront them. That fire demon, with just a snap of its fingers, caused all the demons to burst into flames. Hibiki told everyone to retreat. He would fight them. Akko revealed a truth. The summoning application they were using was created by him. Humans were very weak and completely helpless against the Septentrions' attacks. So he created the summoning application for them to use against demons. Yamato told Hibiki that the next Septentrione would appear tomorrow. It would appear in multiple locations, Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya. It would simultaneously attack the three headquarters in the three regions. Only demons at the same level as Hibiki's White Tiger would be allowed to participate in the battle. He assured Yamato that he would use the power he possessed to destroy the Septentrione. So if he had misguided ideals, he wouldn't overlook it. In the end, he decided to separate from both JBS and the rebel army to fight independently. Yamato didn't capture Ronaldo, the rebel commander, but let him command this place against the Septentrione tomorrow. Aina ran over to ask Hibiki who the striped shirt man was. But when they looked over, no one was there anymore. On the train back to Tokyo, Yamato's hand was injured and bleeding, but he showed no signs of pain. In Hibiki's mind, he was still puzzled by the question of why Yamato would risk using the teleportation gate to come and save him. The teleportation device had also been adjusted. That evening, all staff underwent a general health check. While Hibiki and Daichai were talking and teasing each other, Daichai was somewhat reserved, unlike before. Hibiki immediately noticed and said that if Daichai and Nisha hadn't come to help, he would have been in trouble. Thanks to that, the awkwardness between the two was removed. In the conversation between the female doctor and Nisha, the two also became close. Nisha was curious why she joined JBS. The female doctor didn't hide anything and revealed. Previously, she was just an ordinary doctor, But then one day, some people appeared saying they were from the government and invited her to join JBS. Anyway, the salary here was better than outside, so she agreed. It was known that she had a young child, so after joining JBS, her daughter was also protected. The female doctor complimented Nisha, saying she was doing very well. When she tried her best for her friends, for the person she loved, Nisha blushed and denied it. But the female doctor had long realized she liked Hibiki. Outside, Daichai was waiting for Nisha to come out, and he was teased by Yo, who went to the front of Nisha's clinic. At this time, Hibiki also came, and just as the room opened, seeing 3 men in front of her, including Hibiki, she was very embarrassed and beat them all up. As they were all sitting drinking coffee, Yo came over again to tease the 2. Ronaldo, after his checkup, immediately went to inspect the equipment. He was very cautious and prepared fully for tomorrow's battle. While they were relaxing, Aina rushed over and scolded them for being peepers. Daichai and Hibiki didn't understand why they were being scolded like that. It turned out that earlier in the examination room, it wasn't just Nisha, but Aina was also changing clothes. Yamato was at the dining table with the high-ranking leaders. They blamed him for going to Nagoya and abandoning Tokyo. If anything happened, who would protect their lives? He silently cursed them as a bunch of trash. The Septentrione appearing tomorrow would have 3 entities. It would simultaneously attack the 3 areas, Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka. They would be divided into 3 teams to fight. To destroy it, they needed to simultaneously destroy the 3 cores inside the Septentrione. Hibiki's group would fight in Osaka, so they were teleported there. Nagoya would be under Ronaldo's command, and finally, Tokyo would be fought by Yamato alone. The next day, the Septentrione appeared from under the sea. Its body was a round mass surrounded by spikes, rolling toward the center. Hibiki thought about the USB that Ronaldo had given him. Inside it contained all the information he had investigated about the Yamato clan. In Nagoya, everyone had begun the attack. Unexpectedly, the outer scales of the Septentrione were extremely hard. They couldn't cut through it. Not only that, its regeneration rate was also terrifying. Wounds would immediately heal. Daichai didn't want to just stand and watch, so he summoned a new demon. Somehow, as soon as it saw the giant Septentrione, it signaled "no way" with its hand and automatically cancelled the summoning. Hinako called out a demon similar to the one Kita had used. She would use it to avenge him. Whether a demon was strong or weak depended on the controller. The demon she just summoned had great power, punching away a large chunk of the Septentrione's flesh, thus exposing the core inside its body. Taking this opportunity, Hibiki had the white tiger claw through the core and shatter it. The Septentrione also broke apart. They thought they had succeeded, but unexpectedly, the regeneration rate of the Septentrione increased. From those tiny fragments, it could regenerate a complete body. And it also began to counterattack by shooting out the sharp spikes on its body. In Tokyo, Yamato was alone facing the Septentrione. He had his demon perform a formation that prevented it from moving. When it shot out spikes, they were all clawed into fragments by the Black Lion and exploded. He announced to the 2 groups in the other 2 areas that they would time it to simultaneously destroy its core. In the Nagoya group, they were very helpless because no matter what they did, they couldn't stop it. When Aina received a death video about the deaths of people in Nagoya, Hibiki immediately called Ronaldo, telling him to quickly leave there. He, the female doctor, and Yo all refused because if they left, who would have the ability to stop it? Moreover, Hibiki's death yesterday had been changed, so they might be able to do the same. Ronaldo instructed the 2 that if they sensed danger, they must leave immediately. Both agreed because they had no intention of dying there but would return. Currently, the Septentrione had come very close to the headquarters. Aina looked at it rolling forward, destroying the place that held her memories with her father, causing anger to surge within her. When her index reached 100%, she summoned a new demon. The demon only played 1 note, and the Septentrione was pierced by huge sharp ice chunks, revealing the core. In Osaka, Hinako had also exposed the Septentrione's core. After knowing that both sides had exposed the Septentrione's core, Yamato ordered his demon to destroy the outer surface of the Septentrione. Then all 3 places simultaneously aimed at the core to destroy it. A large explosion was created, and the Septentrione was destroyed. Unexpectedly, even though it was dead, its spikes didn't disappear. They automatically shot forward toward the car where Ronaldo's group was sitting. Hibiki and Nisha frantically called Ronaldo and the female doctor, but no one answered. Aina luckily survived after being pulled away by Jingo at the risk of his life. when she returned, calling everyone, telling them not to be dead, but no one answered. It began to rain, and she screamed, crying miserably. Ronaldo, the female doctor, and Yo were confirmed dead in action. Hibiki and Nisha also burst into tears at their deaths. Hibiki looked at the setting sun in front and wondered what septentrions really were. Was this a dream? Akko appeared and told him this was reality. He said he wasn't a demon, but he couldn't help humans because this was a human trial. What was testing them was Polaris, the creator deity. Polaris concluded that humans were not the best species. Humans had no will to progress, but kept growing stronger. Polaris thought that this was against natural law, so he decided to destroy humankind. Akko also had thoughts similar to Hibiki's that Polaris was thinking wrongly, but he couldn't fight against it because he was Polaris's holy sword. In other words, he was a septentriony. According to him, septentrions were bodies created by Polaris used to maintain the law. But he was a defective septentriony, having emotions like humans. He would feel pain and sadness when humans died. Because he couldn't intervene to help humans, he created the summoning application for humans as a weapon to fight against Polaris. In the space ahead, everywhere was being invaded by the void. The presence and existence of humans would all disappear as if they had never existed. Hibiki could only utter one thing, that this world was about to end. Hibiki woke up and was startled to see Akko sitting in front of him. He was feeling bored, so he came to play. Hearing Akko mention Yamato, he asked what the relationship between them was. Akko didn't hide and revealed they were old friends. Since birth, Yamato had carried a great power within him. According to Yamato, a perfect world was one where only geniuses existed. Hibiki immediately disagreed because how could such a world be called perfect? He said Hibiki was also born with great power. Until he made a decision, it would be the right decision. He drank the coffee that Hibiki had just brewed but choked because it was bitter. So Hibiki gave him a sugar cube to adjust the taste. Akko was a septentriony with emotions, so he was always immersed in suffering. Hibiki had changed his view of Akko. He said if he wasn't an enemy and had no schemes, he could stay here, which made Akko a bit happy. While the two were chatting, Daichai and Nisha came looking for him. The two were startled to see Akko. Daichai was worried that Akko had come to harm him, so he wanted to fight. But fortunately, Hibiki stopped him in time. Then he told the two about Akko's true identity. Although they were a bit alarmed, they trusted Hibiki. Nisha was a bit puzzled because Akko was hovering. He immediately descended to walk on feet, then raised many questions, not knowing whether humans walk with the right foot or left foot first. Yamato looked out the glass door, thinking that there were only 3 more septentrions left, and his chest ached. Seeing this, the Black Lion came over to support him. Aina and Hinako were called to the planning room. The mission to destroy the next septentriony required their power. They would base it on the results of the health check and according to each person's ability to deal with the septentriony. Not long after, the septentriony appeared. Hibiki was worried when only Hinako and Aina went into battle. Sako explained that this 5th septentriony would appear in the ionosphere outside space. Only demons summoned by these two could reach there. Outside the Earth at this time, the septentriony had been recreated with a gigantic size. When the campaign began, Hinako immediately danced the god sacrificing dance. The god she wanted to summon was Shiva, a god of destruction. As for Aina, she would summon a demon named Karma. It was a demon fascinated with young girls, and Aina was suitable to summon it. She shyly exposed her navel. Immediately, the demon was summoned. As soon as the Karma demon was summoned, they tied it to a large pillar. Outside in space, the septentriony had gathered power and was shooting at them. The protective barrier was immediately activated to block it. When the god Shiva saw the seductive demon Karma in front, it went crazy, releasing power into the spear, shooting it at Karma to purify it. The spear continued to fly outside the Earth, destroying the septentriony's core. They received information that the septentriony no longer had life, but things didn't end there. After death, the 5th septentriony didn't vanish like previous septentrions but directly fell to Earth. Its volume was 500 cubic kilometers, so nothing could withstand it. The protective shield was later destroyed, and all the citizens in the city below who couldn't evacuate in time lost their lives. Fortunately, the tower was still unaffected. Hibiki angrily asked Yamato if he had known about this beforehand. He didn't refute but told him if he had a better option, to propose it. After returning to his room, he viewed the information inside the USB that Ronaldo had given him. That evening, Yamato opened a feast, but only he and the scientist ate. The rest didn't have the mood to pick up chopsticks. Hibiki and Yamato had a big argument about the deaths of thousands of citizens. He also stated the main reason for gathering everyone was to ask for opinions. This invasion would end in 2 more days. But there was a problem. After defeating the final Septentrione, they would meet Polaris, the creator deity. Hibiki revealed what JBS wanted to do: confront Polaris. Then they would use the algorithm coefficient they had researched to create a world according to their wishes, and that world would be a place only for geniuses. Yamato told everyone that they already knew everything, so there was nothing more to say, and he left. When Nisha was in her room, she looked at the photo taken with her family and sadly wanted to go home. At this moment, Sako came looking for her. She announced that tomorrow's mission had been decided. Nisha would die for everyone. To face the next Septentrione, only the god Loki had enough power to destroy it, and Nisha was the only one compatible for Loki to possess. Nisha's face darkened as she asked if her sacrifice would save everyone. After Sako left, she leaned against the wall and burst into tears. The next morning, because she was sad, she prepared a lavish meal for them. Nisha didn't hesitate to eat. Hibiki noticed that her attitude today seemed unusually cheerful. He said there were only 2 more days until the invasion would end, so they should survive together. Only Akko knew what was about to happen. He went to Yamato's room and asked if this plan was right, because if possessed by a deity, no human could withstand it and would lose their life. He was worried that Hibiki wouldn't be able to overcome the shock of his friend's death. Nisha, after looking at the last messages from her family, left with the staff. When the Septentrione appeared, Hibiki looked around but didn't see Nisha anywhere. He recalled her attitude this morning. It seemed something had happened. The 6th Septentrione had the ability to replicate itself. When formed, it would continuously copy itself and then devour everything. The system screen showed them Nisha being tied to a special device. Loki and others were very angry when they saw Nisha being treated as a sacrifice. They wanted them to release Nisha, then fight together against the Septentrione. But Yamato replied that it was useless. The enemy had the ability to replicate infinitely. Even if their demons were strong, they would eventually run out of energy. The Septentrione had now flooded into the city. The sacrificial machine holding Nisha closed. Immediately, a huge summoning formation was created. Nisha screamed in pain in the sky. Daichai looked at the death video that had just appeared and was terrified. Inside was Nisha lying in a pool of blood. Hibiki didn't hesitate and ran outside. The god Loki had also been summoned and successfully possessed Nisha, but they were held back by the staff. The system began counting down until Loki lost control. Yamato activated the system to link himself with Loki to control it. Loki flew to Tokyo, then used a skill to activate the dragon vein underground. After that, the dragon Sako was awakened. There were only 60 seconds left before Loki lost control. Loki rushed in to devour the Septentrione that was continuously replicating. After a pursuit and kill, the dragon Sako had eaten all the Septentrions. Their campaign had succeeded easily, but now things were just beginning. Loki was gradually losing control. It had regained consciousness and was no longer controlled by Yamato. Nisha's consciousness of life had thus completely disappeared. Hibiki had ridden the white tiger to rush over, but was knocked away by Loki, who possessed Nisha. Yamato told him that what stood before him now was no longer Nisha, but Loki, so he should kill it. Hibiki heard this and screamed in pain. Daichai ran to Yamato, wanting him to stop. Yamato immediately said, "If you're useless, be quiet." He didn't stop but scolded their actions as unacceptable. They were selfish people who used his friend's life to exchange for their own survival. When he punched Yamato, Daichai was choked by him. Loki had now flown close. Numerous summoned demons fighting were all destroyed by Loki in less than 5 seconds. Hibiki shouted loudly, wanting to call Nisha to wake up, but it was useless. He threw a ball, and the white tiger rushed out to block it for him. Hibiki was blown away, falling from the high wall. At this moment, Yamato appeared and caught his hand. He asked what he was hesitating for and told his demon to kill Loki. But Hibiki didn't want to harm Nisha and told the Fire Phoenix to stop it. The White Tiger and Fire Phoenix frantically attacked Yamato's demon, then vanished together. Yamato was angry and wanted to hit Hibiki, but he said he would protect Nisha because he had promised her so. Loki didn't let them chat and shot down a beam of light. Hibiki threw Yamato aside, thinking he would die after that move. But no, he was struggling to resist it. The dragon vein energy was surging in Hibiki. The dragon Sako had chosen him. Yamato smiled because he also had the same quality as himself. He reached out his hand, telling him to grab it, but he pushed him away. He would use this power to protect everyone. He pushed back Loki's power and flew up. He still believed Nisha was still alive and called her name. In their unconsciousness, they saw each other. He begged her not to choose death, but to return with him. Nisha cried because she had no other choice but to sacrifice herself. In a world where her family and parents were no longer there, she didn't know what to do anymore. She didn't have a strong will like others, so how should she try? Hibiki shouted that being weak was okay. Everyone had their own weaknesses. Then he grabbed Nisha's hand and embraced her. The god Loki inside her body was pushed out. Nisha cried, saying she wanted to live. Seeing this scene, Yamato laughed, not expecting a miracle to happen. Hibiki then lost consciousness and lay in the special care room. Seeing him like that, everyone was heartbroken. Daichai was angry with himself. If he were stronger, it would have been better. Nisha realized that after defeating Loki, she could summon him. Aina came over and told her not to be sad anymore because it wasn't her fault. Jingo spoke up, saying that now the responsibility was all on their shoulders. Akko sat waiting in Hibiki's room, and as expected, he didn't return anymore. 2 high-level demons appeared, asking why he let things drag on like this. He also didn't know what this emotion was, but perhaps he had come to love these humans. The demons heard his emotion of love, but didn't understand what he was saying because they only wanted to see humans being swallowed by darkness. The high-level demon transformed into a spear to kill him. But after all, Akko was still a septentrione. He just waved his hand, and the demon was suppressed, falling to the ground unable to move. Then it was crushed and disappeared. The fire demon beside trembled, saying it would obey him and leave. Akko came to look at Hibiki lying on the hospital bed and then left. The next day, the situation was no different as Hibiki was still unconscious. Daichai had a headache because he didn't have any strong demons in his book. Hinako laughed, saying that was limited by ability, which made him very sad. Nisha and Jingo had prepared food to treat them. To understand each other better, they reintroduced themselves. Aina was a first-year university student. Jingo was an apprentice chef. Hinako was a choreographer, and Daichai and Nisha were both third-year students preparing for university entrance exams. They suddenly laughed, feeling that this introduction was indeed interesting. Daichai came up with the idea that on this day of becoming friends, they should connect emails with each other. When the group touched phones to connect, the death video notified them of a new video. Daichai hesitantly pressed to watch, and inside was the scene of all their deaths. When the bell rang, announcing the appearance of the septentrione, the characteristics received from it were that it was a completely strong demon with no weakness. It had just shot down a beam of light, causing a series of their defensive shields to be destroyed. Sako told everyone that if they hated her, they could hate her because she needed their power to fight. Although trembling after watching the death video, they still didn't give up and would go into battle. In this final battle, all troops would be dispatched. Hibiki dreamed of his childhood. Outside, he was often bullied by friends because of his introverted, quiet personality. That was when Daichai appeared to help him drive away the bullies. The two also became good friends since then. When they grew older and prepared to register for university entrance exams, his parents always reminded and forced him to set his aspirations for the best school, not the school he wanted. After hearing Daichai say he would do what he wanted, he no longer cared about his parents' words and decided to follow his own desires. And then he woke up in the hospital room. Outside, the septentrione was attacking very intensely. The parliament building had been wiped out after one move. Yamato told his subordinates to transfer all the dragon vein to him. Then he erected a magic shield to block the septentrione's attack for everyone. Others had the task of attacking the septentrione. Everyone summoned their strongest demons to fight. Misha also called out Loki. After a battle that injured the septentrione, it suddenly emitted light and split apart. From the separated piece, it emitted a sound with a strange wave that forced their demons to return to the phones. The scientist on the other side had also anticipated this. She summoned a sound-emitting demon and told it to emit waves against the septentrione's waves. Sako received a death video about the scientist's death and told her to leave there. But it was too late. The scientist had been targeted by the septentrione. It fired a destructive beam, taking her life. The septentrione attacked them once more. Yamato struggled to resist. Then he directly rushed up to attack it with a shock wave. The two sides continued to battle each other, very tense. Other fragments of the septentrione chased after the rest. It shot out explosive spikes surrounding them. When the spikes exploded, they lost their lives. Another spike chased Daichai's group. Hinako was surrounded by them. She shouted loudly, telling them to quickly leave this place. After the explosion, she also died. When the spikes rushed toward Daichai and Nisha, the fire phoenix appeared to block them. Hibiki had recovered and asked where the others were. Nisha shed tears, and he realized everyone had died. Hibiki went crazy and rushed to the Septentrione, but the white tiger was shot dead. Yamato on the other side wasn't doing any better and was knocked to the ground by the Septentrione. The Septentrione then unified, shooting down a terrible power that turned the ground into a large hole. Hibiki and Yamato were desperately resisting. Daichai was very angry, wondering why he always just stood watching his friends in danger. When Hibiki was about to be unable to resist anymore, a spirit rushed in and pushed the Septentrione away. It was a demon summoned by Daichai. It was the spirit Zack, an extremely powerful high-level demon. When the Septentrione wanted to unleash a magical light beam, it was destroyed by Hibiki and Yamato. They had successfully destroyed the final Septentrione. Hibiki wanted to stop him from creating a dictatorial world. He affirmed that if he tried to stop him, he would kill him. Akko flew over, saying he wouldn't let Yamato kill Hibiki. Akko had transferred the ray of hope from Yamato to Hibiki. He wanted the new world created to be like what Hibiki had said, so he would stop Yamato. He controlled steel wires to fight against Yamato's magic. Daichai didn't understand why they had defeated the Septentrione, but still weren't at peace. Yamato was currently no match for Akko. Whenever he was attacked, he would turn into a cube to dodge. Because the closer he was to the headquarters, the stronger Yamato would be, so he had lured Akko there. Akko had such a choice because after interacting with Hibiki, he felt like a human. He also said he didn't like the world Yamato wanted to create. Hibiki's phone notified him of the deaths of Yamato and Akko. He wanted to go there to stop them. Sako spoke up, saying she would go to help the commander. Although knowing she had brought a lot of pain to everyone, no matter what happened, she would still help the commander. Because in the past, she had been severely injured, so her work as a national agent had to stop. At that time, Yamato appeared and gave her a ray of hope. So if he wanted to see such a world, she would help him. Hibiki received another notification of Sako's death video. He wanted to stop her, but even though she knew she would die, she would still go. Then she let the flying demon take her to Yamato. Back to the battle between the two. Yamato was in a disadvantageous situation because his demon was still in the process of regeneration. He had realized that this summoning device would summon demons strong in proportion to one's own development, and he had defeated Septentrione number 7. So if there was enough time for it to regenerate, he could summon it. Akko didn't let that happen and continuously attacked. Yamato's magic shield had been destroyed. A steel wire rushed in, piercing through his leg. Other steel wires also simultaneously rushed in. In this dangerous situation, Sako had rushed over, using her own body to block it for him. She weakly said he was her reason for living and thanked him. Yamato was moved and called her a fool. That little time was enough for his demon to regenerate. He immediately summoned his strongest demon. The situation between the two sides had reversed. Akko, after blocking a series of punches from the demon, also lost the battle. Yamato wanted to change this world because fools had made it rotten, beyond repair, and he would be the only one to fix it. Akko asked why he had to shoulder everything himself. He also added that Yamato was very interesting, but he wouldn't let Yamato kill Hibiki. He then used steel wires to hold Yamato back and flew over to hug him tightly. Steel wires wrapped around the two. Akko decided to sacrifice himself with Yamato. When Hibiki ran over, Akko said goodbye and exploded. He was extremely sad, feeling that he had endured enough. Unexpectedly, Yamato was terribly formidable. He still hadn't died after Akko's finishing move. The world at this time began to crumble. The void was also gradually devouring everything. Yamato threw down the phone, summoning a demon to stop Hibiki, while he entered the teleportation gate to Polaris. Hibiki was completely no match for this high-level demon. Fortunately, Daichai had ordered the spirit to block it. Nisha also summoned Loki to help fight. The two told him to leave this place to them, and Hibiki should quickly go to the motorcycle. He trusted the two and rode the white tiger toward the gate. Looking at Daichai and Nisha being injured below, he held back tears and left. The two were also gradually being devoured by the void. Both were gradually losing consciousness and didn't even know who Hibiki was, just hoping that in the next life, they would still be friends. Hibiki entered the gate and saw Yamato there. The judgment here was that the two would battle each other, and the survivor would get to make a request. Both immediately summoned their demons, ready to fight. The white tiger and black lion rushed at each other. but the white tiger was pushed back. Hibiki had to use the power of the divine dragon to create a shield to block the flames. Yamato sighed that he was now as strong as himself. Yamato revealed what he knew, that both of them were born with special powers. In the end, they were just entertainment pawns of the god. Akko was also drawn into this because of his emotions. He said he would win and use Polaris's power to reshape the world. Hibiki also spoke up, saying if that world was formed, it would indeed be great. But if it was imposed, then it wasn't their world. The best world would be the world before, where friends had fought together so that their deaths wouldn't be in vain. The two completely disagreed with each other's thoughts and could only use battle to persuade the other. When the two demons rushed to fight again, the white tiger was bitten by the black lion and thrown away. Hibiki asked if on his path to reshape this world, he was always alone. Wasn't it very lonely? If he didn't care about having friends to aim for the future together, then why did he risk danger to come to Nagoya to save him at that time? Yamato still insisted that he was just an important pawn in his plan. Hibiki immediately refuted. If from the beginning, he didn't see him as a friend, then the death video about his death wouldn't have appeared on his machine. It only shared with friends. Yamato was uncomfortable when hearing that he also longed to have friends. Then he summoned a demon and used a special function, Demon Fusion. A high-level demon was formed. When it attacked, Hibiki was blown away. Even the divine dragon shield was destroyed when trying to block it. Just when things seemed to have stopped there, unexpectedly, Hibiki had been protected by Daichai's demon. His phone notified that demons from his friends had been sent. Yamato was surprised, not understanding how demons from dead people could be sent. Hibiki was delighted, thinking everyone was cheering for him. He immediately summoned all the high-level demons, then also used fusion. All the high-level demons were continuously unified. Finally, the last thing summoned was the god Lucifer. When Lucifer waved his hand, there was immediately a hole in Yamato's demon's body. He still tried to struggle and counterattack, but Lucifer was unharmed and even approached to embrace the demon. Everything was over. Yamato had completely lost. Hibiki told him he didn't need to shoulder everything alone anymore. Light from the sky shone down on the two. Hibiki expressed his wish. The scene changed. The earth had returned to normal. They had returned to the day Hibiki waited for Daichai. Just like before, the two went to a cafe, and Daichai again said there was something he wanted to show him. Then took his phone to download an application that was recently popular. Just by inputting their portraits, they would know their deaths. The two then went to the subway and met Nisha. Unlike before, Hibiki spoke up to greet her. She saw that they weren't bad people, so she came to talk and agreed to be their friend. Looking at the two friends who always did their best to help him in front of him, Hibiki happily shed tears. They received a system from the death video. The death that Hibiki was determined to have would be being hit by a truck. Then when the subway train arrived, it no longer derailed but arrived at their place normally. Hibiki suddenly had something to confirm, so he ran off. He recalled his wish when meeting Polaris. He wanted a world where people didn't have to bear the sufferings like before. After 7 days in that world, he had realized many things. The friends who had accompanied him were also having their normal lives. No one had to bear the pain of death anymore. Hibiki ran to the parliament building but was stopped by security. At this moment, Yamato's car drove up. He said he didn't know him, but then looked at him and smiled. Hibiki shed tears because Yamato was still alive. Akko, after a long time observing everything and seeing that the world was no longer in danger, also left.